of Flyy Credit, where we help you have better credit, better opportunities, and a better lifestyle. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. I hope you all are doing wonderful today. I wanted to jump on here so we could talk about how you can get approved for some credit cards, specifically how to get some high limit credit cards, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I get so many questions. And so today's segment of Ask Flyy Credit is we're going to teach you how to get some high limit credit cards. So if you're one of those people that, you're tired of getting those credit cards that have $1,500, $300 credit limits, you can't really do much with that. And you want to start upgrading your way to getting those better credit cards that have the better rates, that have the points, the rewards. And those are usually the cards that do have high limits. But I want to teach you guys how you can do that, because what you should know is not every credit card has the ability to give you a high limit. Not every credit card is designed that way. So let's talk about how you can get some high limit credit cards, how you can get the big bucks so that you can start getting approved for those bad boys. Because what would it be like if you had a credit card in your wallet that had a $20,000 limit? What would you do with it, right? Would you do some investing? Would you, just use to pay some bills, take some free trips? What would you do? And so if you guys want to get approved for a high limit credit card, drop in the comments the limit on that credit card that you want. Because quite frankly, things become a lot realer when you start actually committing to it, when you write it down, right? When you put it in the comments, you make yourself accountable to what you say you want. So if this is the first time you guys have ever been on one of my videos, just want to stop and say, hey, my friends, my name is Jerry Tolliver, CEO of Flyy Credit. And prior to me starting Flyy Credit, I had really bad credit scores. I had 545 scores. It was in the trash. I couldn't get approved. And whatever I did get approved for, I was one of those people that was stuck with the worst. I was stuck with I had to settle. I had to settle for the credit limits. I had to settle for the bad rates. I had to settle. And so once I started to learn about my credit, after I picked up a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, that book really changed my life. I decided that I didn't want to keep living a life of financial irresponsibility. I didn't want to keep living my life broke. I didn't want to keep living my life living paycheck to paycheck. And so I had to turn a light on, right? Turn a light on so I can start doing something different, because saying something and doing something are two completely different energies. Yeah, I was saying something. I was saying I was tired of having bad credit. I was saying I was tired of getting denied. I was saying that I was tired of getting approved for the worst of the worst. I was saying I was tired of, I was complaining to other people about it, but I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't taking action towards those goals, because quite frankly, it was scary. It's scary to take on your financial struggles, because a lot of us just weren't taught how to get around that. A lot of us were taught, especially me, I was taught to consume. I was taught to, borrow money from Paul to pay Tim. That's how I was programmed. And so because I was programmed for poverty, because I was programmed for financial illiteracy, I was the fruit of, my environment. And so because I was a fruit of that, I struggled with credit card debt significantly. I was in over $30,000 of credit card debt a year ago. I struggled with my credit scores 5 years ago. I had 545 credit scores. And now I can sit before you today after reading a book and doing something different. Now I can sit before you today and say, I've got 850 credit scores. I can tell you today that I've been able to help thousands of people across the United States do the same thing. I can stand before you today and say, I have the best financial future that I can possibly imagine. So let's talk about how you guys can get those high limit credit cards, how you can change your life, how you can change your story. Because I can assure you, once you get that first credit card that has that $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 limit, because it was for me, when I got my first $10,000 credit card, I was like, oh my God, I got a $10,000 credit card. I got more than just $1,000 or $2,000. I'm really not stepping it up. And so what I realized, though, is that was my first card, and I have gone on to secure, I have about 6 credit cards that have limits over $20,000. So if there's one thing I know how to get high limit credit cards. And so I want to give you guys 4 steps on how you can get high limit credit cards too. I do see some $30,000 in the comments. I see some $10,000 in the comments. I got $30,000, $15,000. Wow, let's talk about it. I love it. So you guys want some money, you want some high limit credit cards. And so let's kind of talk about how you can go about it. Because the reality of it is you got 4 steps that you can go about this. You got 4 steps that you can use to really achieve this goal. Now, the first thing that you can do is, first of all, you got to get your credit right. That's the first thing, because you're not going to be able to get high limit credit cards if you don't have good credit. That's just the reality of it. And so if you're struggling with bad credit, if you're struggling with poor credit scores, if you're struggling with not being able to get approved, then it's time to start working on your credit, because you're not going to be able to get high limit credit cards if you have poor credit. You're also not going to be able to get high limit credit cards if you don't have any established credit history. If you don't have any established credit history. So what does that mean? Let's say you've never opened up a credit card before, or you've never had a loan before. You've never established, I guess you could call it a reputation that you can pay other people back, and you can pay other people back on time, and they can trust you with these $20,000, $30,000 limit cards. Because yeah, you can go get a $10,000 card right now and you can max it out tomorrow, but banks don't want to see that. So if you currently have cards that are $300 limits, $500 limits, $1,000 limits, and they're maxed out, a credit card company is not going to give you a high limit credit card. It's just not going to happen. So that's something that you do have to avoid. Is if you have cards right now, don't max them out, because if you max them out and a lender sees it, they're going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to give you a card because you're going to max this one out too, and you're going to have a hard time paying it off once you get to $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt." It is hard to get out of that kind of debt. Let me tell you, when I was in $32,000 of credit card debt, when I tell you I was stressed out, my hair was almost falling out, I was losing weight, it was ridiculous, because I had $30,000 of credit card debt. It's like a mortgage payment. I'm paying over $1,000, $2,000 in interest payments, the credit card payments. And so if you've got $1,000, $2,000 a month in extra bills, it's hard to get out of that. And so the last thing that you want to do is max out any card that you have open, especially if you get yourself into the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 range. Because once you get there and you start maxing those cards out, oh baby, it's going to be hard to get out of that mess. So please, 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 whatever you do, don't go that route. And so you got to start building some credit history. You need at least 2 to 4 years of established credit history. So if you don't have at least 2 to 4 years of established credit history with accounts that you have had open that have never been late, they have not been maxed out, then you're going to have a hard time. So start establishing some credit history. Start getting approved for some credit cards. I'm going to be talking a lot about this during my Credit Accelerator training on the 27th of this month. So if you have not signed up for the Credit Accelerator training on the 27th of this month, you need to get signed up for that, because I'm going to be teaching you a step-by-step guide on how you can start repairing and rebuilding your credit right away. So you can start getting approved for these high limit credit cards. I mean, damn, you can start getting approved for no limit credit cards if you want to, but the first step is you got to start improving your credit. Now, once you improve your credit, then the next thing that you can do is you can start applying for the high limit credit cards. Now, there are only certain type of high limit credit cards. Like not every credit card is created the same. I tell you guys this all the time. No credit card is created the same. So you have some credit cards that really just start off at $10,000. You have Chase Sapphire Reserve. You have Chase Sapphire Preferred. You also have the Capital One Venture. Most people that get approved for the Capital One Venture, it pretty much does start off like $5,000, $10,000. So that might be like one of the easier ones to get. Chase is kind of a hard card to get if you've been getting approved for other credit cards. They have a rule that you don't really want to, hold on one second. That you don't want to, the 524 rule, you don't want to get approved for too many credit cards, because if you do, then you're going to get denied for their cards. So that's one thing that you should know, is that not every credit card is going to even give you a high limit. So Capital One Venture, Sapphire Preferred with Chase, some Navy Federal cards as well. Credit unions are really good with giving you some high limit cards, Navy Federal especially. I also have I got a high limit card with Pentagon. Yeah, Pentagon Credit Union, they will also give you a high limit credit card as well. So just know that no credit card is created equal. You have to actually apply for credit cards that have high limits. Now, here's a trick that you should know. Most credit card companies are not going to approve you for high limit credit cards if you don't have any credit cards or if you don't have any credit cards with high limits. So if all you have on your credit report right now are credit cards that are $500 limits, $300 limits, $700 limits, $1,000 limits, you're not going to get approved for a $10,000 limit credit card because you have not already shown that you can manage a credit card that has that type of limit on it. So the first thing you got to do is build some credit. You got to get some credit cards that it can at least equal $20,000, $10,000, right? If you've got 10 cards that have a $1,000 limit, then you got $10,000 in available credit to you right then and there. So banks are more likely to give you a $10,000 credit card if you already have that amount of credit available to you, you know? So it's kind of like, let's say you know your friend. If your friend does not know how to manage $500, are you going to give it to them? Probably not, right? If you have a friend that's always asking for money, if you have a friend that's always broke, then more than likely you're not going to give them the money because you're more than likely not going to get it back. And if you do get it back, if you ask for it, then you might get an attitude. So, you know, just know that if you want to start getting approved for the high limit credit card, you already have to show that you've been approved for higher limits. You have to already show that you have a history of managing those type of accounts already. Okay, so start improving your credit and start applying for credit cards that can give you those type of limits. The third thing that you got to do is you can either earn the higher credit limits, right? So let's say, for instance, that you have a Capital One Venture card. Let's say you already have one right now, but they only gave you like a $5,000 limit. Well, you could earn your way to higher credit limits by using the card, paying it off, using the card, paying it off, showing that you have good payment behavior. And so if you can show that you already have good payment behavior, if you can show that you already know how to manage your credit cards, then they're usually going to automatically raise your limits anyway. They're automatically going to do it. They'll soft pull your credit, they see how well you're doing, and then they'll increase your limits. Now, if you are one of those people that has worse credit 6 months from when you applied and got approved for a card, then you may actually get your limits decreased. So the good thing about credit cards is once you get your foot in the door, that's really the first step. Once you get your foot in the door with American Express, once you get your foot in the door with Capital One, once you get your foot in the door with Chase, once you get your foot in the door with Bank of America, then I mean, the sky is the limit from there. You can get approved for so many different credit cards once you get your foot in the door. You can get so many credit limit increases once you get your foot in the door. So get your foot in the door first. If you got to get a lower limit credit card, that's fine. Just start establishing that relationship. Start letting them, start making them aware that you know what you're doing here and that you want to build a long-term financial relationship where they can give you that $20, $30, $40, $50,000 limit credit card. And you can feel good about it, and they can feel good about it too, because it should be a win-win for everybody. If your idea behind getting a $20,000, $30,000 limit credit card is to go splurge, go take trips, to go buy stuff, then you don't need a $20,000, $30,000 limit credit card, because you're going to do what I did. You're going to go buy stuff that you cannot pay for. You're going to buy stuff that's going to sit in your closet, and you're going to look at all the money in your closet wondering, what the hell am I going to do about this? What am I going to do? I got $30,000 of credit card debt. I got shoes and clothes galore, but I don't got no money in a bank account to pay this stuff back. So then you got to start selling it, right? So at the end of the day, right, you got to show some good behavior. And once you show some good behavior, then you're going to earn your way to a higher limit credit card. And then the fourth thing that you could do is you could just request it. So if you had a card with Capital One, if you've had a card with Discover, if you've had a card with American Express for a while, and you've been using it, paying it off on time, then you can just give them a call, or you can do it online. I like to just give them a call directly and ask them, can you give me a credit limit? Now, there are a couple of ways that you can go about this, right? You can plead your case. You can say, well, I want to do a balance transfer. Banks love that one. Oh, I want to do a balance transfer. Well, I've got $5,000 on this one credit card. I want to transfer it over to you guys. Balance transfer. And they'll usually give you the limit so that you can balance transfer. If you're not sure what balance transfers are, we can talk about that in a different video, but that's one of the biggest strategies that I used to get rid of my $30,000 of credit card debt. was balance transfers. So if there's one thing that I know is how to get credit, and there's another thing I know how to get into credit card debt, and if there's another thing I know how to pay it off. So you can leverage your credit to eliminate your interest payments. You can leverage your credit to pay off a 30-year mortgage in less than 10 years. You can leverage your credit to do so many things. It's crazy. But you got to get your hands on the cards first. So rule number one, fix your credit. Rule number one, get your credit in order. Rule number one is start working on getting to 720 plus credit scores. That's the first step. Get your credit right, because you're not going to be able to get these kind of cards with 500 credit scores, 620 credit scores. You need high established credit scores to get these kind of cards. All right. Improve your credit. Rule number one. Rule number two, start applying for credit cards that will give you high limit credit cards. We talked about the Chase Sapphire. We talked about the Capital One Venture. All right. These are these types of cards that will give you high limits. They were designed for that. They were designed for high limits. So after you do that, if you get denied, no worry. Still apply for credit cards that may still get your foot in the door. So you can earn your way to having those higher limit credits, the credit card. So if you want to get the Capital One Venture, but you don't have a relationship with Capital One, then what you could do is you can apply for their Capital One Quicksilver. The Capital One Quicksilver is one of their entry-level cards. It's a cash back card. It's not a travel card, but it is cash back. So I think you get like 1.5% back on things that you purchase on the card. But that's like the beginning. That's the beginner's card. So if you at least get that card, then you can move your way up to getting the venture. So start small and then work your way up. And then the fourth thing you could do is you could just request the higher limit. So if you have a card with Chase, if you have a card with Capital One, then you can just request a credit limit increase. You could just call them up and say, hey, Chase, I've been with you guys for 6 months. I've never paid my credit card bill late. I haven't maxed out the card. I would like to request a credit limit increase. Now, granted, you may not be able to go and say, hey, I want you to increase my credit limit by $10,000, but you got to move in increments, because building this kind of credit takes time. Success takes time, my friends. A lot of people always come to me and they say, well, Jerry, how fast can you improve my credit? Or how fast can I get to 720 credit scores? There is no real answer to that question, first of all, because how fast you get there is dependent on what you do. So if you say I want to get better credit scores, but you're still spending money on your credit cards, you're still maxing them out, you're still paying your bills late, you're still paying, if you're still doing the same thing, that I can't tell you how fast it's going to take for you to reach your goals. I just can't. I could tell you a range, right? An estimate based on if you do what I tell you to do. But if you don't, then I can't tell you. But if you do everything, if you fix your credit, if you apply for the right credit cards, if you start establishing good relationships, then you'll be there in no time. Y'all, I went from a 545 credit score 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And for some of y'all be like, well, that's 5 years. That's too long. No, it's not. Because I struggled with bad credit for almost 10 years. So I bought my first house when I was 27. And I started building credit when I was 18, right? So it took me almost 10 years to ruin my credit. So being able to go from a 545 credit score to reaching 850 credit scores in 5 years is a big accomplishment to me. And it could be a big accomplishment for you too. But the problem is a lot of y'all give up. A lot of people give up on their dreams. A lot of people give up on their opportunity to do something different because it's not happening fast enough for them. Success takes time. Everything takes time. If you want to have better credit scores, it's going to take time. If you want to have more money in your bank account, it's going to take time. If you want to have a better relationship with your cash, is going to take time. But you can't get all, angry and demotivated and quit, because if you quit, then you'll never, ever reach your goals at that point. It's so disheartening for me when I see people say that they want to do something and then halfway through it, they give up. 2-3 months into it, they give up. Why? Because it's not happening fast enough. We live in this microwave mentality kind of society where we think that we can pop our scores in a microwave and then 30 seconds, it's great. It's wonderful. I should get approved for everything. I'm sorry, but that's just not the way that it works. I wish it did. But y'all, I've been on this journey to better credit for 5 years. I've been on ups. I've been on downs. I've lost money. I've lost time. I've lost friends. But I made it. I made it. And now I've been able to teach thousands of other people how to do the same thing. People that have taken their scores from 400s to 700s. People that have totally transformed their life. And if I got anybody on this video watching right now and if you've used my information, you've had success, pop it in the comments. Because I don't just teach this stuff to y'all just to teach it to you. I give you this information so you can use it and you can have success. I don't keep stuff to myself because I want to see everybody win. I could easily just not tell you anything. I could just sell you guides. I could sell you all types of stuff all day, every day. But that's not my passion. My passion is seeing people win. My passion is seeing people have success. My passion is seeing people transform their lives drastically. And you can do that. But the problem is you haven't taken action yet. The problem is you keep asking questions that you don't want the answers to. Let me tell you, be careful what you ask for because it's going to come with a price. And that price is time or that price is money. And if you're not ready to pay that price, then you're going to have some work that you're going to have to do. So don't ask for something you're not ready to pay the price for because it's going to come. It's just going to cost you something. It's going to cost you something. So I got some questions in the comments. Patrice wants to know, how much did you say you had available for credit? I have a lot of credit cards, y'all. Between personal credit and business credit cards, I have like 37 credit cards, and I have a little over $400,000 of credit. Okay. So you could do the exact same thing, but just know that it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. All right. Do I have any questions? Hashtag free game. Tell it, Joseph. Hashtag free game. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. All you got to do is take the steps. So if you're struggling with your credit right now, either you need to do one. I left the links in the description for you. You could either buy the Flawless Credit Guide for $7, or you can jump in on my live Credit Accelerator training that's happening on January 27th at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be a live recorded training. All right. We're going to talk everything about 5 ways for you to start rapidly improving your credit scores. We're going to talk about how you can start disputing and deleting bad credit off your credit report so you can start reclaiming your credit and start really improving your lifestyle. We're also going to give you 4 bonus trainings so you can get access to a credit card database. You can start getting approved right away. You're going to learn how to cash in on your credit so you can start making money back from your credit cards. You're going to learn so much related to your credit that when you walk away from it, my friend Asta Cummings, she's a friend on my Facebook page. She'll tell you, she came to my Credit Accelerator training. She said she learned so much on that Credit Accelerator training. I had another guy that said he came to the training. He was like, I was really skeptical about this before I bought it. But after going to this training, I feel more empowered to take the steps towards having success. I feel like I have a better plan. I feel like I have more clarity to reach my goals. So you can get in on the Credit Accelerator training for only $67, $67. That's it. And it's recorded so you can check it out whenever your heart desires. If you miss something or if you need a refresher, it's always there. You get the 4 bonus trainings and you get exclusive access to my Flyy Credit University. All right. It's a social platform just like Facebook, but we built it specifically for people like you. We built it specifically for people that want to improve their credit, that want to improve their finances, that want to have a better financial future for them and their family. So you got 2 options, my friends, 2 options and 2 options only. Okay. You can either do something about your struggle or you can keep complaining about it. But here's what I know. You can't do both. You can't complain, not take action and have success. You can complain, take action and still have success, but you can't complain, not take action and still have success. It just does not work that way. I wish it did, but it just doesn't. And so at the end of the day, if you want to start making major improvements with your credit, if a year from now you want to say, I bought that house, or a year from now you want to say, I took a free vacation, or a year from now you want to say, I'm debt free finally, then you can do that. And you can do that in my Credit Accelerator training. And so if you guys want an opportunity to join in on my Credit Accelerator training, I'm actually giving out 5 free spots this month, okay? Because I believe in giving away 10%. We only got 100 seats available for this one, okay? We bumped it up to 100, and we're already at like 56. So I'm not sure if we're going to make it to the 27th, but if we don't and you miss out, you know, it is what it is. But if you want to get a free spot, then what you can do is you can click the link above. Okay. All you got to do is share this video, tag a friend, click the link in the description to join the contest, and then submit done in the comments. And you can have an opportunity to join the university for free. I'm only giving out 5 free spots, okay? So if you want to earn a free spot, you can do that. But if you just want to get in and you don't want to miss it, then click the button, get in on the Credit Accelerator training for $67. I got some questions. Let's see. Tyrone want to know, can you explain how being an AU on someone else's credit is beneficial? Honestly, Tyrone, is not really that beneficial when it comes to getting high limit credit cards because you're an authorized user. If you want to get higher limit credit cards, you need to have primary credit that has high limit accounts. Okay. If you have high limit primary credit, then you're more likely to get approved. But if you have authorized user credit, not so much. Okay. Not so much. It'll help you heighten your credit scores. It'll help you get lower interest rates, but it will not really help you get higher limit credit cards. Do you have info on obtaining business credit? Yes, actually, we have a funding machine course, and we also have a business credit checklist that I can send over to you, so you can start building your business credit. I've secured, like I said, a lot of money for my business in the last 2 years, and I did it from scratch. So if you want to do that, you can do that in our funding machine course. It teaches you step by step how to get approved for business credit. From you can get all types of funding. I'm talking equipment financing, business lines of credit, business loans. Oh my God, it's endless. So if your goal is to get some business credit, you can definitely do that. One of my friends, April, she's actually my copywriter for my business. She applied for American Express the other day and got approved. I don't know if you guys saw my video the other day that I dropped about how to get approved for an American Express card, but she took action right away and got approved for a business plus through American Express. Charlie says, thank you. No, you're welcome. Do you offer business credit classes? I do not yet, but I will be. So that's actually going to be dropping in February. Oh, we're in January already. My God. So in February, I am going to be doing some business credit classes. So if your goal is to start getting approved for your business, if your goal is to start getting some money to grow and scale this thing, then I will be talking about that next month. It's like you have the credit as well. Yes, yes. What if you have over a $700 limit, but your credit is remaining stagnant? Well, it kind of depends, Kia. It depends on why your credit is stagnant. It could be a couple of different reasons why. One of the main reasons why people's credit is stagnant is because you just haven't built enough credit history. Like I said, it takes time. It really does take time. It doesn't matter how much you hack your credit. It doesn't matter how many credit cards you get approved for. If you don't have the credit history, if you don't have enough credit accounts, it's a specific formula that I will be talking about on the Credit Accelerator. And so if your credit scores are stagnant and you're trying to figure out, well, how can I get around that? Then we're going to be talking about that in the Credit Accelerator training. So I'll give you the exact formula on how you can start increasing your credit, because yeah, you will hit, what do you call? You will hit a plateau with your credit. Your credit scores will hit a plateau at a point. It's kind of like working out, right? When you're working out consistently and you're probably doing the same moves, the same exercises, you're going to hit a plateau. So at that point, you got to do something different, right? And so that's the same exact thing with your credit. It's going to take some time. It's going to take different strategy, and it's going to take some different movements in order to get some movement going with your credit as well. So I don't think I have any other questions, but I love you guys. I really do. That wraps for today's Ask Flyy credit session. If you got some good information out of this, please feel free to share this video with some people that you know, love, and trust. Tag a friend if you know that they need some high limit credit cards too. Could you imagine if you and 5 of your other friends had $20,000 credit cards, right? $100,000 right there. Do you know what kind of investments that you can make together? Do you know what kind of wealth that you can build together? Do you know what kind of financial success, a financially successful community that you can build just by improving your credit? Y'all, oh my God. Credit changed the game for me. It did. Credit changed the game for me. And so I know that if it can change the game for me, if it can change the game for thousands of people across the United States, it can change the game for you too. So I love you guys again. I do. Happy Friday. I am going to go get ready for this Costa Rica trip, do my hair, and go have some fun this weekend. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.